Welcome back to another Thomas Talk. You saw the thumbnail, we're doing my entire Diecast collection. And before you ask, the reason I didn't make one last year is I have so much, it's gonna take forever to film. So let's get started. Starting off the collection, we have Ertl Thomas, and then I also have the metallic Ertl Thomas. Not much to say on these two, except they didn't give him sticker buffers for some reason. Next up, I have two Thomas and Friend Ertl Edwards. Honestly, Ertl Edward is pretty good. This one's a little more beat up than this one, but I got them together and they're great. Next up, I also have two Ertl Henrys, and again, not much to say on these Ertls. They're all great, except both of mine, unfortunately, are missing a lot of buffer detail. I don't know how it happened, but I somehow have more Gordons than Thomas. I have one paper-faced one, which I am so proud to own, and then I have two other ones, and none of them have buffer details. Tell me if he actually had a model with buffers. Only till about a month ago did I get a second James, which is the one spinning. It's in better condition. I've had this other one for probably about a year now, but I found another one at Goodwill, and now I have two. Here we have Percy, everyone's favorite green caterpillar, and I just have one of him, but why is he so big? I mean, look at him compared to Gordon. I don't know why they made him so big. Speaking of big, here's Ertl Toby, another giant. And just for reference, I do have a paper-faced Toby on the way, but it is not here during the time of filming, unfortunately. Now we have an Ertl Duck. Unfortunately, he's incredibly beat up, but I wanted Ertl Duck for so long, yet he was one of the last ones I could find. When I was, younger, my neighbor had an Ertl Duck, and I told him how much I really wanted Ertl and how old and rare they are. They aren't rare, but I told him that, so he never gave it to me. Moved, and I'm so sad about that. But I have my own now, though I would like to get a better one. Now, I do have two Ertl Donalds, and honestly, Donald looks pretty good. I bought him for a Thomas Talk video, then I got a big lot, and I got another one. So, what can you do? Here is Douglas, and I do not own two of him. I just have this one. And he looks just as great as Donald. Here is Oliver, and he also looks really great. Though, I think the side rod, I know he only has them there, but it just looks really weird since they're all straight for Ertl. Next up, we have the Devious Diesel. And I gotta say, Diesel probably has one of the best models ever. We'll get into it in the next evolution video, but I love Diesel's Ertl. Here we have Daisy, another excellent Ertl model, except I don't like how low she is. I think they did Boko better. Here is Bill, and I do not have Ben, which might be confusing for some old-time Thomas fans, but Grant actually owns Bill and Ben. I just have Bill. Here we have my great Boko. My first normal Boko. I have Capsule Playmobil Glitter version. And this Boko is amazing. I love the length. I love how higher he is compared to Daisy on the ground. This Boko is just amazing. Here we have Mavis. And she is great, though. Just like half of these Ertls, I just got her and Gordon at entertainment. And then literally like a week later, I get another one at Goodwill. You know, what can you do? But she has one of the best Ertl models by far. It is just perfectly accurate. Here was one that I was shocked to get. It was Diesel D199, and he looks fantastic in Ertl. I have no idea this last guy, when I bought all this stuff from, didn't even have a Thomas, but he had D199, which is crazy, but I'm not complaining. On to the narrow gauge. All the narrow gauge characters I have two of them, and I bought them both for Thomas Talk episodes. So here's Peter Sam, and honestly, I think Peter Sam looks really good. He looks great. It's just the funnel I know it's accurate, maybe, it just still looks off to me. Here is Duncan, and I think he also looks really well, though I think he does suffer the problem of Daisy running a little too low to the ground. And we have the Coldy mountain engines, and I have Coldy, obviously. obviously, you could totally tell because the lighting's good enough for you to see his name. So anyways, Coley looks awesome, just along with all the other Coley fells. Wished I had Lord Harry and all of them, but I'm happy to at least have Coley. Before we move on to our non-rail character friends, I do have 2 Ertls in the packaging. I got this one at Entertainment for $10. I got Ertl Lady in the box for $10. And then for my birthday, Grant got me this Coley in the box. I have 2 Ertl Birdie the buses. The one spinning I got when I was like 6, and he's pretty beat up. But just recently, I might have appeared in the latest Toy Hunt 10, or it might be 11. I found another Ertl Birdie in like great condition, so I'm very happy to have that. And I'm so sorry the camera keeps going out of focus. Here we have Terrence the Tractor, and if you were here from the very beginning, our first ever unboxing, I got Ertl Terrence here for $3 at a flea market, and he is great. Though I do need to get one with Caterpillar tracks. Here we have Trevor, and he is so small and so very cute. Just a little side comparison to a Thomas. But like compared like to Terrence though, he is so small, but he's in scale to the others, which makes him so nice. I have 2 people figures. I have Sir Topham Hat, and I have this, I guess, conductor guy. And it's so weird how big they made them compared to the engines, but they still look good overall. Very detailed, and I'm very excited for those HO figures coming from Bachman. On to rolling stock, I have 2 Annies, and I got one from the big lot where I got like 90% of this stuff, but I have no idea where the second one came from. It just appeared. Speaking of appeared, I have 3 Clarabelles. Why are there so many of these out in the wild, and why do I have 3 of them? And it looks just as great as Annie, but still. I've got 2 Henriettas, but I just want to say, I love the window details they put on Ertl Henrietta. Is it considered a girl? Yeah, I think it's still considered a girl without a face. She still looks so good. Like, those windows make it pulls the model up to be like probably one of my favorites. Here we have a singular Ertl truck. This one has coal in it. I only have one. I got it in the lot, and I definitely need to pick up more troublesome trucks. You can't have enough of these things. You know, I only have 1 Ertl troublesome truck, but I have 3 mail cars. And I mean, that's great and all, but I think I'd rather just have 1 mail car. You know, it's nice to have 2. I got 2 of them with Peter Sam, and then I got another one. I don't know, I just got it. But like, I don't need 3 mail cars. Speaking of things I need, I got this with a take-along Gordon. I have the Ertl Express Coach, and I have 1 of them. And it's like, same with troublesome truck. I'm like, maybe you could, like, one of these not Annies, one of these 3 Clarabelles be an express coach instead. But, you know, beggars can't be choosers. I think that's how it goes. Here we have the milk tanker, and the milk tanker, honestly, was done really nicely. All the tankers look really good. And, I mean, at least Daisy can pull her milk. That's the butt. This is the face. Tar tanker, another great tanker, nothing really to say. Just looks nice. Finally, the Sodor fuel tankers. I have 4 of these things. I got 2 for Percy on one of my birthdays, and then the other 2 I got in a big lot. And I gotta say, I love the Sodor fuel tanker. On some of them, like this one, you can't really see the fuel part, but I love the darkness they add to. It's sometimes better on others. But it just really... I just found a 5th one, so I have 5 of these things. Anyways, now we have finished this, and we're moving on to take along. Kidding, I also have the Sodor breakdown crane. It was with the take and plays as I was trying to find my take along. So the breakdown crane honestly looks really good, and I love these little catcher things that it has on both sides. Really, I don't really know what they're for. Maybe if I had the whole thing, it would be explained. But it still looks really good. Take along was a range I had very, very few as a kid. And I have barely run into any of these on the market today. But I do have a couple, starting off with a Take-Along Thomas. Stock standard, everyone has at least one of these. This was the Take-Along Thomas I had a kid, the talking one, and you can totally see its age here just based on it's like that button will never be able to be pressed down again. I got two Thomases covered in coal with shock face. I'm guessing the one without eyebrows was the one I had as a kid, but honestly, it's anybody's guess. Final take along I had was as a kid was the take along with a Santa hat, and I love this one so much. It is amazing. Go buy it. I really want the Percy. Then I also have this Thomas with a snowplow that Grant got me in the Easter swap. And this one is also so good. I love the detail on the snowplow. The whole thing just looks amazing. Skipping along, I don't have Edward or Henry, but I do have a Take Along Gordon that I recently had to get for the Evolution of Diecast series. And Take Along Gordon is amazing. I don't know how I never got this before. I always just thought that the Take and Play one was the best, but I was wrong. This one is definitely superior to it. Other than, I don't think I like the light blue. It needs to be a bit darker. Here we have the Take Along James. I believe there was also one with gray wheels, maybe, but I have this one with black wheels, and I have a spare tender, and he looks pretty great. Here we have two Take-Along Percys, and honestly, I don't remember buying either of these, but gosh, Take-Along Percy is just so cute, and I love the wheel spacing. Just, he looks so precious. I lied before. Here is the last Take-Along I owned as a kid. Maybe we'll see if I find more. But this Talking Percy, I honestly thought looked fine till I got these. And why did they spread the wheels out? I know it was for the battery, so it could be more in the middle, but come on, this design looks just so much better. Here we have Toby, and gosh, he is a cement brick. I never had a Toby as a kid, and I went to go buy a Take and Play, because that was the things I grew up with. 2009. I didn't suffer in 2013. But I ended up getting a Take-Along, and I think the Take-Along honestly looks really nice. I love the dark brown it uses. Next up here we have Devious Diesel. And just like the Ertl, Diesel steals the show. Again, probably being one of the best, just one of the best take-alongs. He looks just great. Especially when you get him up with like a shocked face Thomas. This thing steals the show. And let's just wait for it to be spun around to see that great face. Here is Daisy, which I was so shocked to find they made a take-along. Because I was just in a train show, and I saw this, and I was like, what? They made her? I got her, obviously, and honestly, it looks so good. I love how much more the blush or makeup, however, whatever it is, it's much more apparent than the Ertl, and it definitely looks a lot nicer, not being way too low to the ground. Starting off our later era, we have Arthur, and he is honestly so long if you watch James clips. This Arthur looks really nice. I love the darker, like, brown, red that it has. This is, like, one of my only Arthurs I have, and he looks so much better than Trackmaster. Here we have Poor Harvey, which everybody hates on, and I have no idea why they hate on him in the Wooden Railway one. This one is amazing. Yes, the color is wrong, but at the same time, the color looks so good on Harvey. I don't see how you could ever dislike this guy. And the face is such just charming. Our last standard gauge, we have Salty. And Salty is one I so wished I had as a kid. This thing looks phenomenal. Look at the details. He has like the same paint as Harvey, and the paint looks great. People, Thomas fans, that's right, Harvey is awesome. Better than Wood Harvey. Starting off narrow gauge, we have Duncan, and honestly, I love this guy. Other than I don't know why they gave random narrow gauge white wheels. It doesn't matter because the rest of him looks so accurate, and so the squished down size honestly makes him look really cute. And I don't know, charming, I guess. Here is Duke, and Duke was so great, Take and Play didn't even try to change him. And honestly, he looks phenomenal. I like the narrow gauge kind of went smaller size, but it looked cute. Except here, I don't get why they made his tender like the same size as him. Here we have Fearless Freddy. This one, Fearless Freddy, honestly, it's Freddy. He looks fine. There's nothing really to say because he's really just a nothing of a character. I don't remember him. Starting off road vehicles, we have George, and honestly, George looks so good. Obviously, it's not gonna beat its Ertl or Capstone Play Rail, but he looks really good. Other than, why did they give him a smiling face? Who thought that was a good idea? The other take-along vehicle, road vehicle I have is Elizabeth, and this is the only one I ever got with the card. Yes, I don't have a take-along lady. Like, long story. Anyways, Elizabeth looks really nice. She's almost super accurate, which is what you want to see. I don't know if they made her an Ertl. If they didn't, this one definitely makes up for it, being incredibly accurate. Here we have Alfie. And honestly, Alfie probably has one of the best models of all time just because of the awesome digging function. I cannot describe how much playtime I've been able to have with an Alfie. This number I got for only $4, and he is amazing. The detail of the wheels alone. I think he does have tracks and tires, which is kind of disappointing I don't have them. But, you know, to have the Thumper, just in general, as a take-along, is great. Now we have the Sodor Rescue Cars that I got separately. I found this one by itself, then I found this one with this one, and he sold it to me just that one. And honestly, these are really cool and really neat accessories, though I kind of wished I had more of them. Now, I mean, I wish I had more rolling stock that wasn't them. The only true rolling stock I have is the take-along milk tanker that I got with Daisy. And honestly, the milk tanker and take-along looks really solid, except I don't know why they loved obsessing with the random wheel colors. And finally, I have the Sodor Aquarium Electric Eel Car. Again, Take-Along nailed the tanker design, and they use black wheels here, which makes this thing look really good. It's got painted buffers, it's got a nice gold. It's just honestly a great tanker design overall. I completely forgot all the engines I have in the box. First up, we have Emily here, and she looks great. Obviously she doesn't have red sides, but I do think it looks really nice just because that long tender that's super accurate. Next up, we have Fergus, and obviously, Fergus is probably a fan. He is a fan favorite, and it's super cool to have him in the package. In these last two, I already showed you out of the package, but I have a Elizabeth and a George still in the package as well. Here is the 2009 Thomas, the one I grew up with, and here is the 3 survivors. So I have a lot of variants. We have 2 of these these Halloween ones. I got one of these from one of my friends on my birthday. And yeah, they look great. Gold Dust Thomas, probably the worst one. Can you tell it's Gold Dust? No, you can, and there's my initials. With 2 Holiday Thomases, we have this Snowflake one, and then we also have this Happy Holidays version. Now we have the color changing Thomas, and it changes to have mud on the side, but again, they didn't really do a great job here. Finally, one that has cool graphics, we have the Firework Thomas, which it has a nice banner, but it's not really that special. What is special is this 2012 Thomas that has great mud detail and a awesome hard at work expression. This one is honestly really beautiful. They did a great job with this. Same with the pull and zoom Thomas. This one has this one looks so cute. I love the face. Though I never understood the freaking caboose. Give him Annie and then include Clarabelle as a separate in the pack. That would make way more sense than this. But it's still a really great toy. Here we have the 2012 Thomases. Honestly, they both look pretty good. One is from the King of the Railway playset, and the other one's just a normal one. But the magnets on these things suck. They go away so fast compared to the classic stuff. Here we have the 2009 Talking Edward, and just to so you know, almost of my classic series tender engines, or the mains are all talking, and Edward looks great. Henry is also looking quite fine, though you can tell this one has a lot of wear and tear. Henry was definitely one I played with, like, probably one of the most. Here is Gordon, another awesome model, that, especially since this one doesn't have much wear and tear, you can really see how beautiful it is, even having the right wheel configuration, something that 2022 couldn't do. Here's the 2012, which has those bad wheels, but the CGI phase really works with this model, though it's kind of sad to lose all the paint on a lot of details. Here we have the Talking James, and I also have one with King of the Railway banners, and this one also looks really good. This face is definitely not based on CGI. It's definitely based on classic model series, and that makes it so much better. We also have the pull and zoom version, which looks so good. The CGI face looks amazing, and all of the whole thing looks really good. They really nailed this take and play. Moving on, I only have one take and play Percy, and this is my favorite Percy. There, a take along, you thought that was my favorite? Nah, this is literally my favorite for Percy. It's the same, except the details just look a whole lot nicer having actual gold instead of yellow, like take-along. Just like Thomas, Gold Dust Percy just kinda sucks. But it's still the classic ones, so, I mean, even though you can't tell, it still looks really nice. Probably one of the best Percys ever. It's based on when he's hit the jam cars and Sir Topham Hatt's clothes flew all over Percy. Kinda weird we got this in like 2009, 2010, but so happy we did. He looks awesome. Here is the pull and zoom Percy, and they honestly got his proportions great, even though obviously pull and zoom used a lot of plastic. Also, this mail car is super accurate, and I was so sad when I was a kid. They never really made the mail car, but this was a pack that did, which definitely made it one of my favorites. Finally, just like the other Talking Percy of Take Along, this one unfortunately splits the wheels instead of having them be close, but it's fine because it completely makes up for it with that hard at work face just like the Muddy Thomas. Except this one looks even better because it has the blushing detail. And finally, we have the 2012 Percy, and you can see mine is completely destroyed. I don't know why. I definitely preferred this guy, but he was loved, and I wish those magnets last longer. At the time of filming this, I got this literally 2 days ago, 2012 Toby. So this marks my first take and play Toby. Kinda, we'll get into that. But he looks phenomenal. I do think I prefer Take Along with the darker, like more chocolate brown as the Railway series. But the face works really great on here, super accurate. Here is Take and Play Diesel, and Take and Play Diesel, honestly, it's not as good as Take Along, but it's got the same details, which make it really nice. Here is the Misty Island Rescue variant that has logs all over it. This was the diesel I had as a kid. I didn't have the normal one. And I really like this one, just because they totally should have had the 2012, the happy face. But since they used this, like, classic mixed one, he just looks so awkward. Finally, we have the 2012 diesel, and it sucks. It's a complete downgrade. The face, the sides, the completely just made of plastic at this point. 2012 diesel sucks. Don't buy this. Here we have Emily, and she looks so great having full brown instead of having red like the other one. But I do have another one. Unfortunately, it is missing the tender, though. And the tender itself, though, looks really nice, which is what you want to see. Moving on, we have Mavis, and she looked, I don't know how she looked in Take-Along, but man, this Take-and-Play knocked it out of the park. Diecast always has gotten Mavis right so far. This one looks amazing, and I love the CGI face. Here we have a 2012 Iron Bert, which is kind of a shock that 2012 would make Iron Bert. You can obviously see it's a lot of plastic, but it also looks really nice. Here's the ferocious Diesel 10, and he looks amazing. I love the weathering at the bottom of this thing. Truly beautiful overall. And here is the talking version. The same thing, but obviously it's got the talking phrases, and also the windows are very roughed up because it glows red when it talks, which is awesome. One of my favorites as a kid, not the character, but this take and play model was honestly one of my favorites that I owned. I mean, Murdoch's prop and overall, the whole thing just looks amazing. Look at this thing. Obviously, you can see it's really damaged of use, but that's just the Thomas Love, baby. And Murdoch is a great one. Here's Spencer's Tender. I do not own him. Yeah. Here is the Talking Rosie. I don't think I have no memory of this thing ever talking, because one of the first things I did was play a little Splish Splash Splosh, if you know what I mean. But Rosie does look really good. Love the shape of this. Speaking of shapes, here is Stanley with another awesome mold. You can tell it's definitely based on the Great Discovery, but he does look really nice. Here is Patchwork's Hero, and my Patchwork's Hero tender doesn't actually couple up. Either way, the magnet does not work on it. It never has since I bought it. Which is kind of sad, but it's fine. Because the hero itself carries this model. It is so cool with all the different colors of patchwork. Here's Charlie. He exists. And Scruffy. I think he's a steam engine. It's kind of hard to tell. And he also exists. Moving on to Bash and Dash. I have no idea what is on Bash. That's just how I found him when I was digging through the Taken Plays. But anyways, these guys are so detailed and so accurate. Look at the backs. These things look amazing and phenomenal. Why did they put so much effort on the worst characters? And also, Ferdinand also has, like, amazing detail. Painted buffers. Look at that side. Look at that piston. What the heck? Why do they put so much effort in these garbage characters? Now let's get back to good characters. Paxton has a phenomenal take and play. Look at this thing. The orange on the running board and the green. Obviously, it's just a diesel mold, but it still looks really nice. Here is Dart, the 2012, and he is so cute. Look how small he is compared to, like, Paxton. This thing is incredibly tiny, and it makes it so cute. I just wished I had a den for him. Norman also has a really unique mold. I don't know if they captured it with Dennis, but they definitely got this mold right with Norman. Here we have Sydney, another great character. I always thought was a girl, since my cousin, which is a girl, is named Sydney. But when I found out he's a boy, that confused me a lot. But, whatever. Sydney still looks great. And finally, Patchwork Steven. I never found the normal Steven. I was so sad about that. So I painted my Patchwork Steven yellow. And I regret that because he is worth so much online. And I could easily buy a normal one now. But what's done is done. And my yellow paint sucks, but if you go look at an image of the normal one, he looks phenomenal. Moving into narrow gauge, we have Scar Lowy, the 2012 version, and he is beautiful. Love the CGI face and the whole CGI deal with this guy. He looks great. Here is the yellow Rheneas. I do not have a red one, but or in whatever color he is, but the yellow one from the Blue Mountain Mystery Scene still looks really good. Love the blue lining. Here is Sir Handel, which along with Ertl Terrence, I got him as some of the first unboxings on this channel 2 years ago now. Can't believe I've been doing this for 2 years. But Sir Handel, he's looking great. Peter Sam is also looking really good as well. I just think they really should have emphasized the funnel more. You really can't tell that it's so special. Here is the CGI Rusty looking awesome. As we know, Rusty is definitely best character, obviously, and this one does not disappoint. Here is my childhood Duke, which is Take and Play. You might be thinking, this looks like the Take Along, because it is. Take and Play didn't change anything, and I think that says something. This model didn't need changed. Here is Luke. Yes, I know his face is kind of chipped, and he's missing his funnel. I don't know what happened. This was at my grandma's till like maybe a couple months ago, and I found him in like a big storage bin. So that probably did a number on him, but I do remember breaking the funnel off when I was playing with him and Bash. Here we have 2 yellow Victors. And the yellow Victor design, honestly, is so fire. I mean, look at this thing. A G. Okay, one of these might have been Grant's at one point. But anyways, he's mine now. And both of these guys look great. Yeah, that's great. Oh, crap.
You took my Victor. I'm gonna get it from you.
Here's a very unique Victor that they decided to make. They decided to make him being painted into his red Liberty. And they did this with the Black James being painted pink, the Thomas Mini. And this is a really creative idea, and I really love what they were going for with this. The final engine we have up is 2012 Millie. You can tell because the couplings are dead. And honestly, she looks really good. I really like the Millie. It's the wheels. I know they gave them smaller wheels, but the way they spread them out, and Millie's so big, just makes it look really off-putting. Starting off road vehicles, here is Flynn the Fire Engine. One of the biggest, and honestly, just like Bash Dash and Ferdinand, why did they go so hard on this Flynn model? It is awesome! Besides the ladder, wished it had better movement. Here we have 2 birdies. I think at my grandparents' house, I have a birdie that has a lot of more gray details along it. But these 2, honestly, they look pretty good. I mean, it's Birdie. How can you get him wrong? Got this guy a week ago. This is the Take and Play Butch. And finally, a model they went so hard on, that's a good character. Butch looks amazing. I thought this was an Ertl when I seen it, and then when I saw it was 2012 Mattel, I was so shocked. This is an awesome model. Good job, Mattel. Here is the Take and Play Good Jack. Because, well, you can see it has a lot more details, a lot more colors. And, you know, it has a circle face, square face Jack sucks, sue me. And I also have this trash. I mean, at least it's better than the 2013 version, which apparently has no details on the sides. Like, oh my god, that would be horrible. I wanted to give a shout out to these. I have Rocky's flatbeds. If these go to Rocky, I don't know, leave a comment down below. Here is the best Kevin Take and Play ever, just because the hook is this beautiful red one, and you can attach it to the engines, and just looks great overall. Here is Winston and Sir Topham Hatt, and it's just shocking to me that he used like the take-along Sir Topham Hatt mold, I don't know why they didn't make him a CGI one. But Winston himself looks really good. I mean, the Sir Topham Hatt take-along still looks great. Once again, I have two of something shocking. And it's Captain. And honestly, they went so good on Captain. And yes, I totally can tell that they got some different details. This one has like bigger crane and got a little different steering, but they still both look really nice. Finally, Skiff. And honestly, in the bad era of take and play when everything just sucked, this was a really great model. I love this guy. He is so good. He's still on Amazon. He's like $10. What are you got? Go buy this guy. He is great. Starting off rolling stock, we have two troublesome trucks with this happy face expression. One is a gray truck and one is green. Don't really know why it's green, but it's so great to have troublesome trucks. Next up, we have the wooden railway package of some trucks, but in Take and Play, we have the shocked face one that moves up and down, and then we have the coal one, which probably doesn't talk, because I was so annoyed with it, because oh my gosh, that thing is infuriating. Be silent forever. Alright, here we have four other just random trucks. We have the Sodor Library, a Pirate's Cove, a random brown one, and this apple one that I got in 2nd grade. There was like, you'd get like dimes, plastic dimes, you save them up, and then you got to spend them on something. So people were buying food, snacks, actual things. I spent 20 dimes on a truck. I know, I am so cool. Here we have a bunch of different flatbeds, and all of them have painted buffers, except this one, which means this one sucks. It's supposed to fall on the side like that. There we go. We have two of these very heavy vans, which are so cool, and these are the kind of vans that open up on the inside and we got like a coal load, some mining equipment. The camera was out of focus. We'll do that again real quick. And honestly, these two are just really cool. Now we have two cabooses with Sir Topham Hatt in them. One is just the normie one, and one is this Christmas one, which has Sir Topham Hatt as Santa. Well, this one just has normal Sir Topham Hatt. And finally, we have an oil tanker, my only take and play tanker, and it's probably the best tanker you could get. And we have a dynamite car. And I just recently learned that it actually opens up. And I watched this on a video, and I didn't realize mine opened up. Oh, look at that. Brand new. Sydney. Whatever. Alright then. Moving on to 2013. Oh, wait. Inbox crab. So, this I got at a train show, and I never had Toby. I was looking for him at the train show, and I found one in the box, so I still don't have one out. But, it's whatever, because this one honestly looks really nice. It's awesome to have this split open packaging, because this is the only kind of take and play I have in this style, so it's really cool to have one like this. Then for Thomas's 65th anniversary, they released this at the Toy Fair 2010, and I just got this off eBay for $10, and it's really cool. Love the top Thomas & Friends bubble, and honestly, just a really neat packaging style. As we all know, anything Mattel reboots is obviously a complete bust. We'll get there. But here is the awful 2013 Thomas. Here's one I found with some banners at a thrift store. Yeah. Here's the only good one out of the line. And I just say good because it can have steam come out of it, and that is just pretty cool. You have this one that has like a bunch of race car things. Yeah. We have these two jungle ones, and I have a specific memory with these two. Or not these two specifically, but the playset they came with comes with a normal Thomas. And at my one friend's birthday party, this girl wanted to have the best present, and she showed up with this Thomas, and he was so excited. And then I showed up with the playset, and I outstood her. And obviously, the entire playset's way better than the train. So that was a proud moment. And here is the one that glows. And, I mean, I guess that's kind of cool. I've used this as a flashlight a couple times. That's about it. I've been finding so many of these at thrift stores recently. Wonder why. And here is Edward. And honestly, he sucks, just like the rest of them. Though he looks better than Henry and Gordon. Here's Henry. What? Again, Edward only looks better because he's smaller normally. Since they all have the same 3 wheels, what the heck is this trash? And you haven't even seen real trash yet. Here is the Gordon. And yeah, he has his wheels. They're little black dots that you can't even see because this thing sucks. Why did they ruin Thomas? Here we have Percy. I have 2 of them. I don't even know why. Yeah, it's Percy. They didn't even get the wheel spacing right. Come on, this should be the easy part. This isn't talking. And then here is the Hyper Glow one, which got the wheels even less right. You know, no painted buffers, no nothing. Just straight up trash. A character no one expected them to make was Oliver. They also made Toad, and I really wished I can find him someday. But anyways, it's Oliver, Mr. Oliver, the one and only. I mean, they got the shape right. I bet he would have looked so much better if he came 1 year before in 2012. Here is Ben, the first Chinese clay pits guys that I have, which is really surprising to me that I think I only have this Ben and I don't have any of the rest of the twins. Which is shocking to me, but he does honestly look pretty good. They got the wheel spacing right, but they couldn't do it for Percy. Here is the devious oh wait, it's just Diesel because he's happy and trash. Here is Talking Salty. Come on, what did they do to Salty? The last one we saw was Take Long, and then we go to this. What did they do to my boy Salty? Finally one that makes sense. The worst character ever, Philip, belongs in this range. That sucks. Just like him. So I'm going to give this one props. This is a pretty great model. Very accurate. Just being bad overall. Just like the character. So this one's pretty accurate. I'll give it that. Definitely very good. Approval. Here's the Hyper Glow Rosie. And honestly, this one doesn't look bad. I'm trying to see where they squish the cab, and I'm kind of not seeing it. This one honestly just looks fine. Still has the horrible couplings, though. Our final standard cage is Samson. And I mean, it's Samson. I mean, this one doesn't look bad at all. I know it didn't release in certain parts of the world. I just found this guy recently, and I mean, I'm happy to have him. Just to have some Samson merchandise, but I got nothing to say on him. Here is Mike, one of the few characters of the miniature engines, I think. And Mike, honestly, looks pretty good if you didn't have the absolutely garbage magnets. But the thing I don't like is how huge his tender is compared to him. Maybe that's accurate, I don't know, but it looks weird. Unfortunately, I do not have Bert, but I did just get Rex. I think maybe $10. I hope that was a good price for him, but Rex honestly looks pretty good. I just hope that maybe next year I'll finally have Bert. Thankfully, that is all of the awful fat magnets characters that I have. Hopefully I don't get any more. But the one I have in box is the Jungle Thomas, because this thing really did not sell at all. Starting off Thomas Adventures, we have Thomas. And I mean, it's the same exact thing as this one, but the couplings are a whole lot nicer, so it definitely outranks that. These two variants are sort of similar. We have some jungle-like Thomas, and then we have a robots-like Thomas. I bought the robot one, and then I found the monkey whatever crap at a thrift store. Here we have the reason to actually buy an adventure. The Talking Thomas is like the best thing ever. It's like a better 2012 version. Look at the length of that cab. It's beautiful. And I mean, the face is just the 2012, but perfected. Get this one. This one is worth it. Speaking of worth it, here is the LBSC Thomas. Another worth it. It might have the squished cab and proportions, but it's just so great to have merchandise of this guy. Skipping all the other main characters, here is James. Honestly, James doesn't look that bad. I don't know what he looked like with 2013 magnets. Well, I have one, but I don't remember what it looked. I don't have one here. I have one. But I think this James honestly looks really good. I would pass it. But once again, the talking one looks so much better with better proportions overall. That last one was like a B, like passing. This is definitely like A minus. Great. Here are two little Percys, and these Percys look awesome, great. Like they got big calves again. They just look good overall. I don't know why some of the adventures just look better. Even though it's probably the same mold, they just do. That's just how it is. Here's one that does not look better. What the heck did they do to Toby? He sucks. Look at this thing. That is just trash right there. Absolutely garbage. Get this out of here. Here's brand new main Nia. I got this from my friend's little brother, who didn't want it because Nia sucks. Why would you want this? I took it off his hands. I accidentally broke the funnel off in a video. And just like Bash, Dash, and Ferdinand, Nia looks great. Spot on accuracy. Yay. Here is Diesel, which I didn't even thought existed. I only thought the talking one existed. But it turns out they did make an Adventures Diesel. Good on them. Here's that talking one I was talking about. But, yeah, it just has an eye patch, which I guess would be pretty cool if it didn't have that god-awful smiling face. Rosie, just like the Take and Play 2013 version, looks good. Honestly, the squish cab thing didn't really affect her that much. So good on you, Rosie. Just like 2013 Talking Salty, I got 2017 Adventures Talking Salty the same day. And I mean, yep, that's a Talking Salty. Nothing to say. Here we have Hero without the tender, and Hero honestly looks pretty good to me. I don't really see any flaws with him in the squish. I think he looks a whole lot better than Thomas does. Also with Belle. Belle also just looks pretty good. It didn't really change much. I mean, I obviously Take and Play, the ones with the good magnets, did it so much better. But this one doesn't look bad itself. Just kind of pulling off the All Engines Go Emily being a little too fat. And Ashima looks horrendous. Why is it so small and squished up like a little ball? This sucks. I'm sorry. Ashima sucks in Adventures. Not the character. Starting the narrow gauge, we have Victor. And Victor honestly looks pretty good. Since I don't really think they changed his mold. Maybe a little bit, but they didn't really change it. Unlike Push Long. Luke sucks, however. The funnel was shortened down. I swear I didn't break it. And honestly, they just squished him, making him look so off proportion and just... He sucks. Like, why is his whole running board black? Moving on to road vehicles, we have Birdie. And honestly, Birdie has... This is much nicer. It used the same mold, thankfully, as Take and Play. So he looks just good overall, except they just updated the details. Here are 3 Take and Play Heralds. I forgot to show them off, because honestly, I totally forgot about them. Take and Play Harold looks great. There's nothing really to say on him. Moving on with vehicles, here is Trevor the Tractor. I'm honestly shocked that they made Trevor. The last Trevor I know is the Ertl one. So it is so cool that they actually made a Trevor. It looks nothing like Trevor, but it did use the scrap Fergus mold, so I guess it's understandable. Here is Kevin, and here's what I meant by kinda sucks after the 2012. The hook doesn't move on its own, and it's way too big to carry anyone. Not like anyone has open cabs anymore. He's also a whole lot more squished. So honestly, there's just nothing better about these two. Starting off, here is Henrietta. Definitely, the last time we also saw her was Ertl, and she is amazing. Look at this thing. It has Henrietta's face. Probably the only merchandise ever released to have her face. This item is phenomenal. It's got amazing detail. Because it was a brand new mold and it didn't copy awful 2013 Take and Play. Here we have 3 Take and Adventures flatbeds. And I mean, they're nice, but they're just flatbeds. And finally, we have this little shark that I think came with Salty. And the shark, you can like shake it around and move them all around in this container. And the container does not come off the flatbed, but it's still pretty cool. Let's move on to the inbox stuff. First up, we have this, the LBSC Thomas. And as you can see, it has a lot of crap at the front. Did I need to know every single language? No. It's got this nice 1945 special edition sticker. And then on the back, it's got a little promo of him. And then it's all just a bunch of trash. Not really the greatest box. But I like the green Thomas in the corner. Next up, we have Rosie in the traditional Adventures packaging. So you got the metal engine, you got Rosie here in the little bubble. And then on the back, it's got the Steam Team with the advertisement of YouTube Kids. And Rosie looks pretty good. Now, the background I've been using for this also has the beautiful YouTube Kids. How great. And then it is actually Luke. I also have Luke in the packaging. Then moving on, here is the Dino Talking James. And the back also shows off James and shows off the only talking I don't have in the box, unfortunately. And I think he still works. Let's see what he has to say. Cool. And then I have 2 other talkings. Here we have Pirate Diesel. And apparently his head thing is coming off, but here we have the back advertising that Thomas, the best one that I unfortunately don't have in the package. Let's see if he still talks. It's behind you, dude. And then finally, here is the talking Salty. I don't like the CGI render without the rust, but I get it. And why does they advertise just that one on these boxes? And let's hear what he has to say. Oh, ahoy, Salty. Starting off the push-along range, here is Thomas the Tank Engine. And honestly, I wouldn't say this is a downgrade from Adventures, but he still doesn't look that great. Here's the re-release of Thomas, and he has white eye, like a little white dot in between the black, and this is like, came out right at the end of the line, so not much to say on these 2. Here is Paint Splattered Thomas, and we have a lot of different variants. Let's just get started. Here is Fire Thomas that came with the jet engine. Here is the first Gay Thomas. And the second Gay Thomas. Both of these look honestly pretty nice. I like them. Here we got Neon Thomas, and boy, this is neon. I mean, look at all those colors. It doesn't work. Silver Flame Thomas. This one, honestly, is amazing. It's definitely, probably my second favorite. I don't know. We'll get to some of the other ones, which just look better. Here is Party Thomas. It's just Thomas with balloons. Graffiti Thomas. The kids got to him, man. Look at all that spray paint. Here is the Diamond Anniversary for the 75th anniversary. Don't know why I said that's in such a weird order. This is honestly an amazing Thomas. I love this thing. If it's still on Amazon or anywhere, get this item. It is definitely worth it in your collection. It is beautiful. But for me personally, the most beautiful, the best push along Thomas is the Blossom Thomas. This one just has such good details, and the like glowing of the wheels and running board just make it look so precious. Another character I know. This one is the white-eyed version, and it is Edward. And Edward, honestly, we're not counting the tender, but Edward himself looks really good if he had the right wheel configuration. But the tender absolutely sucks. Here's Henry. What the heck did they do to my boy? What is this? This sucks. The green is just too light. I'm sorry, it just is. The tender sucks, the whole thing sucks. I guess they got the face right. And no, Gordon does not improve it. I'm sorry. Edward should not be taller than Gordon. That's just visually wrong. But at least they gave this one a tender. Because in 2021, they tried to make Graffiti Gordon and they didn't give him a tender. They thought they were slick. They thought they're like, we can get rid of the tender. It'll just be the fans that complain. But we actually banded together and got them to remove this. So, a very proud moment in the Thomas community. Here is James, another completely out of proportion. What the heck is this model? Yeah. Same points for Gordon's graffiti applied to the James graffiti. You can't get rid of the tenders. You just cannot. We have 3 Percys, and you can already know the wheel spacing. They just copied Talkings for some reason. And one of these came in the box behind you. But it's Percy. This one just really sucks. The Silver Flame Percy, honestly, it looks fine, but it was just so overproduced in the later years. They stopped producing Thomas and Diesel, but they just kept going with Percy's. I've seen it too much. Also, the green wheels just make it look really off-putting. Here is the gay Percy, one I am so happy that I actually was able to get. Unfortunately, I never got the gay Diesel. He was just too expensive online. But Percy, however, looks beautiful. I love the swirls on this guy. For sure my favorite Percy. Here's Toby, and before we say anything, worst decision ever made to show his wheels. Worst decision. The gay one kind of makes up for it by its colors, but I do not own that one at the moment. Here's Emily, and honestly, she's just as bad as the rest, but the thing that shocks me is they didn't make her a bigger wheel. Like, you think they'd do that, considering every other range did that, including All Engines Go. How do you get that wrong? How does All Engines Go beat you? I think that says something. And here's the re-release with the white eyes and the thing everybody can't stop talking about, Emily's 12. And I'm so happy she got the 12, but no, it doesn't improve the model literally at all. It just has a 12, it doesn't make it that great. Here's Nia, great taking over the cast. And this Nia, I mean, if it was longer, it'd probably be very accurate. And I mean, it's got some of the details, but it's just way too short. Here is the one with the white eyes, and there's not much to say. It's the same as the other, just with a little white eye. And here is probably the best push-along ever made, the Snowplow Nia. Look how beautiful this thing is. It's got the lighter colors of everything. I mean, look at it compared to a normal Nia. This thing is amazing. The snowplow, the wheel colors. I'm so happy they brought this back with some All Engines Go models. But this Nia is amazing. Really wish I had Thomas. Another one they went so hard with is Rebecca. I mean, if she had the right wheels, the entire front of Rebecca would be perfect. It's so accurate. The tender obviously sucks, but they do not care about tenders. But, I mean, she looks really good overall. Here is Diesel, and at this point in the line, he sucks. He just sucks. He sucks. What doesn't suck, however, is this diesel. This is what I meant by the silver flame, just being better than Percy. Unlike Percy, which just has a little bit of green here, and then the gray all around, Diesel has the gray in the back and the black transition. It's like a beautiful transition between the two with the flame in between. And the gray wheels make it look a whole lot better than green. Here we have Salty, and I mean, I think Salty looks pretty good. Though they didn't add any of the rust on the buffer beams. There's no rust, which makes them look so weird. And the face also is just off-putting. Here is the Blackout Salty, and I don't know why they went so hard at the very end of this line with like Blackout Salty, the Snow Nia, but I'm so happy they did. This Salty looks great. Here's our only ever diecast. We will never see Red Rosie because she's never getting into All Engines Go. And I mean, I'm kind of happy with this one. I mean, the tab got bigger, unlike the rest of them. And I mean, she looks good in the red. I'm happy at least we have at least a nice model of Red Rosie. And here is the Blossom Rosie. I don't think I like it as much as the Thomas one, but I do think it looks really good. But compared to Thomas, it does not. It's mediocre. Moving into CGI, here is Paxton. And honestly, they copied Diesel's mold, but the mold looks so much better on Paxton. The colors just pop a whole lot better than just being a completely black brick. And I can actually see like all the vent details. Here is Belle, and it's about the exact same as the Adventures. I mean, not the worst thing ever, but Take and Play did so much better. Here is Ashima. I have two of her. I have one I normally have in Florida, and I accidentally brought it, so she gets to appear in this collection video. So good on her. And this Ashima, I mean, it's way better than the Adventures. That's about it. It's not good. And here we have our first ever YouTube short unboxing we did on this channel, Neon Ashima. So I kind of have more like attachment to it, but I do also think it is just way better than the Thomas. Here is Merlin, and I honestly think, not including the tender, every tender sucks in push along, that Merlin looks really good. Just like Rebecca. I mean, other than the wheels, he has so many details, and he just looks good. Oh, and I also forgot to mention, none of these have painted buffers, so boo. The one, the only, Young Bowway. Awesome model. 10 out of 10. No biased at all. Did not get us any views whatsoever. I have never watched much of Blubba, so I don't know who Shane is. But the one thing I do want to complain about when I see this model, why is the tender and the engine different greens? That is the most annoying thing ever. Moving on into our road vehicles, here is Flynn, and I don't know why they Take and Play. I know, so he can probably actually work with sets, unlike Take and Play. But he kind of just sucks. He looks like some random car or fire truck, instead of like being a cool design. Here is Harold, and yes, it just uses the same as Take and Play, Adventures, probably Take Along too. They all just use the exact same mold, which is why he's the best one. Now, speaking of best one, this is the best Harold, the gay one. I mean, the sunglasses alone. I mean, if it had like the black here, here, and there, this would literally be the perfect Harold just because of the sunglasses. And last and certainly least, we have Kevin. Yeah, I mean, Kevin's just definitely not as good as Take and Play. Just kind of bad because he has to fit on train tracks, so we have to extend the width. Speaking of extending the width, here's his partner, Victor. I don't even know what to say. This is awful. How do you do my boy Victor like that? On to rolling stock. Here is Annie, and yes, we haven't talked about Annie and Clarabelle since Ertl's. Shockingly. I don't have any others. But the push-along one looks really good. I don't have anything to say. This is just a good Annie. And here is her celebration version. And it's, again, not much to say. Love the party decorations, just like the Thomas. Here we have Clarabelle, and the main thing that kind of sucks about Annie and Clarabelle is, other than the couplings being in different spots, there's no way to tell Annie and Clarabelle apart, because their faces they're the same, so it's kind of disappointing, but she still looks good. And honestly, literally the exact same points apply to the celebration Clarabelle. Looks good, just kind of wished Annie and Clarabelle could be separated better. Here is, as we were just talking about celebrations, this one came with like a gift, and then it came with this huge flatbed, which was not made for this pack. It was made for a zoo pack with a giraffe that actually fit good in the crate. So, I mean, this is kind of nice, except it's just way too big since I can just fit a Thomas in it. Here is the push-on quick coach where you can turn it day to night in the coach. And I mean, that's cool, but it's also, like I said with that flatbed, it's just really out of proportion compared to an engine. And finally, the jet engine. Honestly, the jet engine looks really good. I just kind of wish I could take it off that boring wood platform. Hello? If my boy Thomas is on fire in this pack, then that wood is just going to be burnt up in an instant. Alright, we're starting off my things in the box. I have a lot of push-along CGIs in the box, starting off with the Thomas and the Trackmaster packaging. You can tell it does not have the white eyes. It's got a nice list of characters and garbage on the back. Here is the modern packaging of the metal engine, getting rid of all Trackmaster branding. This one is the one that comes with white eyes and has absolutely nothing important on the back. Kinda sucks, and this is the only one I've ever found in this packaging. I bought it instantly, but unfortunately it's got a little crease in the corner. Here is the Thomas and James pack. And I bought this so I could get a video because All Engines Go is making the same pack. It might have already came out, but I never found it in the US. So this pack's kind of worthless to own, but it's not like I'm going to open it. And final Thomas is the Diamond Anniversary Thomas. Like I said, go buy this thing. It is amazing. It will be totally worth it in your collection. If you get one in the box still, I'd probably open it. This is just my second one, so that's why it's in the package here. Here is Edward and the classic Trackmaster packaging. Flip it to the back. Again, that beautiful catalog so you can actually see the engines. Don't know why they got rid of that on modern packaging. Here we have Henry, another great one. I love the push-along packaging in the old style. It just says great, and got some Japanese writing, maybe? That's gotta be Japanese. If you know what that says, let me know. I'm just now realizing there's a lot of Japanese on this thing. Here is Gordon's box. Just like the other two, he's looking great with a nice catalog on the back. I like his more because you get more unique characters than just the main ones, like Edward and Henry. Here is James, and I have him in the modern packaging, but surprisingly, he doesn't have white eyes. So, you know, the back has absolutely nothing on it, but the front looks pretty nice. I know you thought I didn't have him, but here is Origins James. I only have this one in the package. I really want to open it, but at the same time, just no. It advertised James on it, but that was a dumb choice. But I just can't bring myself to open this guy, so I'm gonna have to find him out of the box somewhere. I completely forgot I have a Graffiti Gordon in the package. Just as a reminder to all, Mattel failed at trying to get rid of the tenders. It's got nothing on the back. But this is just a reminder. Mattel failed! A great day. Anyways, we have Percy and the classic Trackmaster packaging. Here's the back of the same catalog of characters, and I do have all of these, just not in this package. Here is Bash, and I really only bought him because I wanted to complete this 4 characters: Thomas, Percy, Bash, and Rosie. I never got Rosie in this packaging, though, which is kind of sad, but I mean, I have Bash. And since we're showing, that was the last of the ones in the classic Trackmaster box, and I have one of these boxes just as a storage for all of the engines. Here is the Silver Flame Percy. Here's what I meant by they re-released them too much. I have one in the package I got for $1. So here is Percy's package. Not much to say. Good on you, Pekka. Here is Toby's packaging. I like it. I'm kind of shocked I found him. I thought he was the one I would never find. And then I just found him one day at Walmart for $1, so woo. Here is Emily with the number 12 because it is in this style of packaging, the more modern version. Nothing on the back. Here is Diesel, and again, most of these ones I got were just because they were all on sale. When like this packaging was going away, they all went on sale for like $1. And then when All Engines Go's coming in, all of these went on sale for $1. So you just buy 2, and then boom, you complete the entire push-along series. And the last one is Rosie. I bought online, told I was gonna get this classic packaging, and then I got this modern one. And I was sad. And that's about it. I could never find the classic packaging. Now I don't trust online. But I doubt I'm ever gonna find one in this style again, so wah wah. And just to show off, I do have one of these storage containers with this modern style as well. Starting off with the All Engines Go Thomas. And I mean, it is really accurate to the show. Woo. And a lot of my versions of these are just versions of the main 5 characters, because since there's only like 2 characters in the show they show, there's like no one in there, so they just make a lot of variants. Starting with face swaps of Thomas. They have 4 completely normal Thomases. There's nothing different about these guys except the face. We got like this 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 determined, and I don't even know what that one is. We have 2 more Thomases with determined faces. This one is like a medieval one, and this one is the Crystal Caves. Both of these have amazing details on them, but nothing really special. Here is the McColl's Farm Thomas with a great face for thumbnails, but the details have a bunch of animals, which kinda doesn't make it appealing to buy. This one, however, the Celebration Thomas, is an awesome concept. On the end, it has a caboose, and as you'll see, there are other characters that make up a full train of balloon trains. And you see how that's kind of clever, but again, this one really cool because it has a white bottom. Here is the Muddy Thomas. This one, honestly, again, looks really cool, but it's mostly carried just because they changed the bottom to brown. Now, obviously, I'm obviously a fan of the gay engines, because it's just kind of funny they make gay engines. But this one's honestly probably, like, my least favorite. There's nothing really cool about it. The other ones all go for, like, something completely unique and new. This one's just, like, sticking bare bones. Normal stuff. Here's one of the latest ones in my collection. This Crystal Thomas uses the wheels of the Blossom Thomas, you know. So obviously awesome there. And I mean, the crystal details on the sides are nice, but the face with crystals is kind of bad. Here is the Golden Thomas. Honestly, this one is really nice. I think it's way better than the CGI push-along Gold Thomas, which I know I didn't show in this video. But I think he looks really good. And finally, here are the 2 color changer Thomases. We have this one that has the beautiful white. Definitely my favorite of the 2. But the dinosaur has some great stuff going for it, especially when it's in its brown color. It can look really amazing. Up next here is Henry, which is just Gordon, but they changed the boiler. They didn't even bother to change the buffers. And I mean, it's whatever. At least they tried to include Henry in something. Now here's Henry. Oh, my bad. This is Gordon, right? It looks the exact same, except there's a different boiler. And same thing with Henry. I mean, it's not that... it's pretty accurate. You got the nice details and shape, because some of them can't get the shape of the engines right. Here's the muddy version, and literally nobody wants this thing. I mean, I can point it out to this one eBay listing. This thing is on eBay for $5. Nobody wants this thing. It came in a multi-pack. Everyone just sold this guy off. I don't really understand why, but I mean, it's just a Gordon. He may not be in the show, but they sure do love making way too many James. They clearly tell James is marketable, even though he's not in the show, so he just appears in, like, every merchandise. I mean, I'm not complaining. At least they give him painted buffers. Moving on, here is Percy, and I know it's kind of weird, I only have one, but I don't know why, but for videos, I end up destroying this guy a whole lot. So I only have one still remaining. These two share a face. I put them together, but they couldn't be far off. Other than the face, this one has the whole crystal cave thing, but this one is way cooler. It's got the glowy domes and stuff, no painted buffers, but as the same as the Celebration Thomas, it's really cool just because of that really unique white bottom it has to it. Here's the other cave Percy. This one came with the ghost scaring machine, I think it's called. And I mean, this one's... the details on the sides are kind of bad, but I really love that face. Here's the McCall's Farm Percy, and gosh, the opposite with the side details or whatever, and the face is just ugly. Here is the color changer Percy, and I think the only All Legends Go color changer I have so far that sucks. This one's about Percy getting skunked, and I mean, his face turns green, and it's just not that great. And finally, the best Percy, this muddy Percy. I mean, it's got the brown chassis. I mean, it's got great details, the mud couplings and all that. But I mean, look at that face with the mustache. Flawless. Here's the worst thing Mattel ever made. What is this fat... I can't say the name because... I need Brent here. The fat bee. What is this thing? Oh my gosh, that face is ugly. Look how fat it is. She is not that fat. There's nothing good about this at all, except the middle wheel. It's probably the best diecast middle wheel. But still, it sucks. Here is All Engines Go Nia, and I mean, it's doing slightly better, just slightly better than the normal, whatchamacallit, CGI push along. Just, it's got a little longer, but it still needs to be longer. But at the same time, Nia isn't long in All Engines Go. Here is the Muddy and Crystal Caves Nia. Both of them share a face. I decided to put them together because honestly, both of these I kind of treat the same. I mean, they both look fine. There's nothing really that great about them. Celebration Nia, however, shares the face with the other two, but just like the other Celebration, is really cool because it's got the balloon train, and then if you connect all of your celebrations together, if you give me 1 second, these couplings, oh my gosh, and then we put Nia here, and boom, you have a full train of balloons, which incentivize your parents to spend all the money on them. Here is Diesel. Despite not being devious anymore, they gave him a devious face on the push long. I have no idea who made that decision, but thank you. We really needed this. But other than that, it sucks. Why is it purple? Who thought Diesel was purple? They need fired. Here is the race for the Sodor Cup Diesel. And it looks much better because it gets rid of some purple. But the thing that sucks about it is his horrible face that I got rid of because it's so bad. So I gave it the smirk face because it's just better. Forgot to show off the Diesel that's right behind us. This is the normal Diesel with a face swap of just like another devious face, so it's not that important. The Crystal Caves and McCall's Farm Diesel share the same face, that awesome, like, determined face, I guess, kind of like the Thomas. And I mean, both of these look okay. The McCall's Farm one sucks. The only thing good about it's the face. The Crystal Cave one does look really nice. And finally, the most bizarre diesel is this gay one. I just don't. It looks like he's completely on drugs. I'm sorry. It just does. Here is Kana, and since she was built from the ground, I guess all of these were built from the ground up. But since she didn't have a basis, All Engines Go could make her however she wanted. So the model, obviously, is probably one of the best push along All Engines Go, because it's just perfectly accurate. Here's the face swap of the normal one that I have. I think this came with the Race for a Sodor Cup pack. I can't be sure. If it did, though, the face sucks for it. That is not a racing face. That's a, haha, I can't believe you said that. I'm totally laughing. Here we have the Crystal Caverns, or okay, whatever, Kana. And I mean, this one kind of sucks. The details aren't that great on the side, and the face is just like, whoa, what are you doing there? Speaking of whoa, here is this one, McCall's Farm Pack Kana, which just completely has a whoa. And I don't really know what to say on this one, but we did a review, so if you want to go watch that. And finally, All Just Go gets a gay right. The Kana gay one honestly looks pretty good. I like the window detail, how they just changed it so slightly to make it nice. I mean, the rainbow just looks nice and consistent, unlike the Thomas. Here's Kana's first color changer. It's this white one, and they share the same face. And I mean, it puts a smiley face there, but this electric one doesn't really have anything to it. Unlike this dinosaur one, this one is amazing. I love the pink, and it also turns into a brown like the Thomas. This Kana is way better than that other one, than the whatever that trash is. This is the superior color changer Kana, get it. Moving on, here is Sandy the rail speeder, and just like my things with Kana, she also looks really good since there was no CGI to consider. It was all engines go, all engines go. So I mean, she looks really good. Though all my Sandys have different couplings because I don't like the one they give her. Here is the Crystal's Cave Sandy, and I like her determined phase, but there's not much else to say. Here's the Muddy Sandy. I really like what they had this. She has a scared face, and the Carly coming up has a happy face. And then for the motorized pack, they switched it to have Sandy happy, Carly scared, which was just a cool idea. They collaborated. And finally, just like the Nia from earlier, we have this Sandy. And she looks amazing with all the snow details. Though, I'm just happy they continued this awesome snow design and still using the same CGI snowplow mold. It's super cool to have that, especially since All Engines Go has normal screws for you to take them apart and take snowplow. Here is Carly, and she honestly looks pretty good. As I've been saying, they're built from the ground up. She did have CGI, but she was an actual crane. And this one honestly doesn't look half bad. It's pretty nice. Here is the Muddy and Crystal Caverns one. I put them together because honestly, they're the same. They share the same face. The Crystal Cavern one, however, does have a little bit more detail with that yellow buffers compared to the Muddy not having it. So I think I like the Crystal one a bit more. Here is Bruno. This is what I meant. He has the best All Engines Go push along. Kana is the close second, but I think Bruno just looks the most right. Maybe it's also because he has Henry's number, which just makes him better, but who's to say? The snowy Bruno also looks amazing. I love the star and the snow details, the gray roof, kind of like his prototype. But the thing that makes him off to me is the face. Just seems a little weird. Here is Hero, and Hero is horrendous. Actually sucks. I think the only thing they might have got right is the wheels. He has gray coal. What idiot gave him gray coal? Why does he have gray running? He's not gray. Kenji, however, is a much better improvement because he's actually the right colors. And honestly, this is a pretty good Kenji. I just kind of wish we had a CGI one to compare him to. Here is Young Bao. He does not have painted buffers in the actual one, unfortunately. But I really like how much more detail is added with this one. They really go way harder than CGI ever did, adding like a lot more of the details in the right spots, the pistons and all that. Here is Riff and Jiff, and both of them look really good. Again, with all Entrance Go characters, they have such unique molds, makes them really beautiful. And I do like how they're looking at each other. Here's Verona and Frederico, another two great molds. They're so unique. Kinda wish they had motorized. And I do like how she has black windows and he has yellow. I think that's a cool contrast to each other. Finally, the last one out of the box is Darcy. And Darcy looks fine. Way better than CGI ever did. Finally, last one with the stupid spinning. Starting off within the package, here is the Thomas. And honestly, Thomas looks pretty great. The package of him is just the stock standard CGI one, but in All Legends Go form. Here is the gay version, and again, I really like the face better and the graffiti up front, and then when you see the Thomas, you're like, ugh, why don't I get that? Here is Gordon in the packaging. It's got a crease here, but, it's just kind of cool to get all the engines in the package. Though I don't have everybody yet, as you'll see. Here's my only Percy I have. I only have the muddy one, just because that face definitely deserved to get him in the package standalone. Here's Crystal Caves Kana, and I only bought this because I could never find it ever. And then I found one. I've only ever seen one of her, and I bought it instantly just to keep in the package as a nice memory. Here's the Crystal Cave Sandy with her special hook thing. And I thought, honestly, this one would be really popular. And then it was a shelf sitter. So it's probably not going to be worth anything. Unfortunate. And the final item we have is Hero. And I have Hero just because of the Gray Coal thing. I don't know. I feel like since he's only in race for the Sodor Cup, maybe this will become rare. I don't know. Who cares? This video's been way too long. And with that, I hope you guys enjoyed my entire Thomas and Friends Diecast collection. I cannot describe how long this video took, because you see how long this video is by itself. So imagine doubling that, because I had to edit the whole thing. But, as it said, if you guys like this video and you want to see more like it, then like, comment, and subscribe.